Hey Warpugs, so today we're going to be checking out a Majorkill video. This is what GW should have done with the Ynnari storyline. There's a lot of things they could have done with that. There's a lot. I only know the basics because I still have yet to be able to start on the Dark Imperium series. I hope that's going to change soon. I hope that with me actually trying to free up a little bit of time for some fishing on the weekends that I'll be able to actually get out there and listen to books again. Right now, I'm just listening to books whenever I can. This was requested by iLily back in February. I'm trying to get to some of the old requests. I'm trying my best. It is what it is, guys. There's so many of you. There's only one of me. Anyhow, I'm going to stop. This is what GW should have done with the Ynnari storyline, according to Majorkill. And with all things Brother Kill, we know that Timmy is wrong. Here we go.
G'day guys and gals.
G'day!
Most of you know that I have a big thing for the Eldar, and not just because my ultimate fantasy is getting crushed by the powerful thighs of a Dark Elder succubus. I love their aesthetic and the way they seem to be able to subtly nudge the strands of fate, creating these unforeseen butterfly effects that completely change the outcome of key moments in the lore. The resurrection of Gilliman, the survival of Vulcan, even saving the Imperium and preventing the Cabal's prophecy was all because of interventions by the Eldar. Well, mostly Eldrad, but the Elder can take the dub. It's just a shame that GW seems to despise them. Although we have recently gotten a range refresh on the tabletop, the first large update in nearly 20 years, Eldar lore has recently fell completely on its face. The Psychic Awakening event was promised to be the Elders' rise to the forefront, taking them from a bunch of sissy space elves on the edge of getting genocided to a galactic player once again. Kinda like how the Necrons are at the moment. But no! In their own Ynnari novels, they run around in circles, gather a crew, and then all get their asses beaten by a small shard of a random mini-boss that Slaanesh just pulled out of their gaping teeth asshole. The shard, which was literally just a small fragment of the power of one Slaaneshi demon, was enough to almost beat the entire Ynnari, the best the Eldar have. Bruh. The books were then discontinued, and as far as I know, the Ynnari are twiddling their thumbs and back on the bench. It was very disappointing and very poor by GW, but I can either complain about it, or I can tell you exactly what they should have done instead, and what they could still do to give the Elder the respect, whilst at the same time maintaining the status quo. Before I get started, it's pretty common knowledge that the number one goal in life is to
He changed his shirt instantaneously.
Get laid. Everything a man does, he does to improve the chances of getting laid or increasing the caliber of people to lay. This isn't an opinion, it's just science. Well, today, my fellow scientists, I present you with a shortcut: Manscaped. Women literally poll manscaping and hygiene as their highest priorities for a potential partner, and I back that in. I've met beautiful men and women with hygiene issues that turn from an 8 to a 2 in an instant. So how does Manscaped help?
Yeah.
Help with this by creating the ultimate getting laid package, the Platinum Package 4.0. Everything in here is designed to sort out any hygiene issues you may have. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you a nick-free trim of your man downstairs. The Ball deodorant and toner annihilates stanky wiener. The shampoo, conditioner, and deodorant all have this mature, refined scent that will keep you smelling fresh. Not to mention a high-quality travel bag and a very comfy pair of boxers. All of these have been bundled into an insanely well-valued package. You are saving hundreds over buying these items individually. Then to save even more money, use my link below for an additional 20% off and free international shipping.
There you
Cheers
go.
to Manscaped for sponsoring this video and dramatically improving your chances of getting laid. Today, I will briefly go over the completely trash lore us Elder players have been given before then diving into exactly what GW should and could still do to fix it. Let's get into it.
There is so much that could be done for the Eldar in terms of lore. The best thing I think they could do is to stop making them so fucking stupid half the time. If they could stop making them so fucking stupid and so just absolutely petty, it would be a great boon to everyone involved. Make them somewhat intelligent in the long game.
Alright, so I touched on it briefly in the intro, but why are us Eldar fans mad? Well, it isn't just the recent Psychic Awakening Ynnari bullshit. Over the years, the Eldar have received some dope lore, showing them as a force to be reckoned with and not out of the game yet. Other lore has them painted as retards who failed to fight off a single Space Marine chapter from their craft world, despite having millions of Eldar, including thousands of Aspect warriors, who are more or less equal to Space Marines, Warlocks, Farseers, and an avatar of their fucking war god. The Eldar are often used as the other faction's punching bag, with the avatars of Kane being a walking meme.
Yes!
Since every single
This is why I'm writing the next 5-ish about them.
character who doesn't wear a helmet in battle has managed to beat one. Avatars should be Primarch tier, maybe slightly lower, not fucking Space Marine Captain tier. So
They're not even Space Marine Captain tier anymore.
when GW announced the Psychic Awakening and the primary role the Eldar would play, we were cautious but hopeful. Well, just like a white van with free candy written on it, we got pulled inside and our innocence was stolen. Despite a decent start, with interesting new characters such as Yvrane, the Viscerarch, and the hectic Ynnari, and a cool setup, that being our band of heroes slowly but surely upgrading their gear and expanding their Pokemon collection in preparation for a gnarly climax, it all just falls flat on its face. Let me set the scene. Yvrane is traveling from Craftworld to Craftworld, gathering supporters and finding the legendary Crone Swords, god-tier Eldar weapons that she begins giving to her greatest allies. She had one, the Viscerarch had one, the Ynnari had another, Prince Uriel also had one with his Spear of Twilight. It was also revealed that if they retrieved all the Crone Swords, then their death god Ynnari would awaken and fight Slaanesh for supremacy over the souls of the Eldar race. Previously, every single Eldar would have had to die for Ynnari to awaken, but now there was a way better solution.
Right.
Yvrane also manages to gather a Solitaire, aka a Harlequin demigod, as well as the largest and greatest avatar of Kane Shard. Not to mention, pretty much all the Phoenix Lords join in as well. So you've got the Eldar, united with Harlequins, Craft Elders, and Dark Eldar. Their best characters who have all gotten a power boost, and what do they fight? What is this final boss? A fucking hologram of a random new Keeper of Secrets. And they almost lose. This sliver of the Keeper kills the Solitaire, Yvrane, and the Viscerarch before finally getting taken down at large cost. Then Yvrane and the Viscerarch are brought back to life. The Keeper is then like, Lamau, that was just 1% of my power. Also, the final Crone Sword is in Slaanesh's palace, so literally inaccessible. See you later, nerds. And that is where the lore leaves us. Are you fucking kidding me? But enough complaining. What should have GW done to sort this out? Well, the setup was pretty cool. An absolute dream team of Eldar taking on Slaanesh.
Yep.
Since Slaanesh has been so useless and sidelined in the lore recently, it would have also been a great spotlight for Slaanesh players. The last thing before I get into the improved version, I want to remind you guys and gal about Sira Gorach's prophecy, which more or less states that Slaanesh, in her sluttiness, will be her own undoing. Her actions will directly bring upon her own downfall. Keep that in mind. So here is what should have gone down. The heroes unite, level up, and get ready to take on Shalaxti Hellbane, the chosen of Slaanesh and Bane of the Eldar, just like they do in canon. They battle Shalaxti, not some fucking mirage, but the actual Shalaxti herself. Whole squad is present, with 4 out of the 5 Crone Swords. We have our bitch Yvrane, the most badass simp of the Viscerarch, Uriel with his spear, Eldrad shooting lightning out of his dickhole, and yes, the very demonic looking Ynnari with his big ass Crone Sword. Not to mention the War Shard of Kane and the Solitaire, and fuck it, let's just throw some Phoenix Lords in as well. It's a hectic battle, pew pew, skirt skirt, but instead of everyone getting wrecked, they hold on with the Solitaire going beast mode and carrying the team. Eventually, after a devastating battle that kills or maims all the Ynnari present, including some of the Phoenix Lords, except our main lineup, Shalaxti is beaten, but instead of banishing her, the Solitaire uses some Harlequin ninjutsu to turn Shalaxti into a living portal that leads to the Dark Prince's realm. See, with Slaanesh granting Shalaxti a large shard of her own power, she created an extremely strong bond between Shalaxti and the realm of Slaanesh.
Right.
A bond that the Solitaire was able to exploit. This also ties into Sir Gorach's prophecy, in which the actions of Slaanesh would lead to her undoing. Hence, Slaanesh trying so hard to crush the Ynnari gave them access to her realm. Shalaxti screams in agony, not the fun kind, as our heroes walk through the portal and begin the galaxy's most hectic heist movie. See, in the Dark Prince's realm, there are 6 domains that act as a ring around around Slaanesh palace. Each domain, which is more like a layer, provides a different temptation. Our heroes must struggle through each temptation, which also gives us, the reader, a really good deep dive into the inner insecurities and mindset of each of our heroes. Each layer should test
This would have been an awesome book.
one of our heroes to the max. Perhaps the Circle of Power tempts the Warshard. The Circle of Carnality would exploit the love the Viscerach has for Yvain. The Circle of Vainglory would tempt Yvain, etc, etc. Through effort, meaningful moments and challenge, our heroes struggle through and reach the palace. Everyone's sanity has been pushed to the brink, other than the Ynnari and the Solitaire, who seem quite unbothered by what they had just experienced. They finally reach the palace, yet they are shocked to find it empty and quiet. They had expected hectic orgies and shit, but all they see is the final Crone Sword. It's obviously a trap and they hold back, but then the Solitaire walks forward and grabs it at the protest of the others. He is racked with pain and is petrified, turning to stone as a dark seductive laughter booms across the palace. The palace lights up with sound and stimulus. Countless demons materialize and join the laughter. It's horrific, with only the presence of the Crone Swords shielding our heroes from instantly losing their sanity and joining in on the depravity. A hermaphrodite demon, not quite a demon but more so an avatar of Slaanesh, a fingernail of Slaanesh, approaches them. It is as terrible as it is beautiful, with the heroes struggling to tear their eyes away from it as they feel blood running down their faces from their tear ducts. It is said that gazing upon Slaanesh will instantly corrupt anyone, no matter their will. However, our heroes are not just anyone, and with the power of the Crone Swords, they can resist. That, as well as the fact that this is just a small representation of Slaanesh and not the true god. Although despite this, they are frozen in place and can barely move from the gaze upon them. The Slaanesh thing begins mocking them, saying it has followed their progress from as soon as they entered her realm, and now they have delivered all the threats to Slaanesh's dominion on a platter. She will feast on the souls of the Elders greatest and have the Crone Swords locked in the palace forever. Yvain can't believe this is it. She can't move. She can't hear her god. The Ynnari is similarly frozen, unable to do anything. The Warshard roars and breaks free from its psychological bonds. Kain and Slaanesh are mortal enemies, and he refuses to be undone like this. The sliver of Slaanesh merely smiles and obliterates the Warshard with a single hit. Only his gem heart and sword survive, with the rest of his body destroyed. Slaanesh turns back to the Elder. The time for mocking is done. It is time to consume. Her jaws distend and open impossibly wide as she begins to grow. She will devour them both physically, mentally, and spiritually. The terrible, attractive visage peels away to reveal a distorted monster made of teeth and tentacle. But then, laughter. Cackling over-the-top laughter, the Slaanesh monster stops, pulling its tentacles and teeth back into its original form and turns. The Solitaire is standing there, laughing, all 5 Crone Swords floating around him. The Warshard's demise was not in vain, but the ultimate distraction to allow the Solitaire to collect the swords from each of the heroes. Yvain hadn't even noticed. But how? He was petrified, frozen. Slaanesh is equally confused until the Solitaire begins to grow in size, his mask distending into a vicious grin. The Solitaire was Ciro Gorach all along. Not for the first time, the Laughing God has taken the form of one of his most powerful sons, but definitely for the last. With a flick of movement, the Crone Swords smash together. 5 become one as a deadly jagged sword emerges. The Shard of Slaanesh lunges at Ciro Gorach, but the Harlequin God laughs as he swipes the blade up, eviscerating the Slaanesh thing in a single cut. He then turns to our Eldar heroes who were just freed of their entrapment, and he cuts empty space, ripping open a portal that leads into the webway. Ciro Gorach tells them to go through and follow the golden path, pointing at the Warshard's gem heart and sword and telling them to bring it, as Kain's role in the universe is not yet done. He then shrinks the Crone Sword and gives it to Yvain, telling her to take it to a specific planet to perform the awakening of Ynnari. The heroes pick up the heart and blade of Kain, with Eldrad shrinking the Kain so it's a holdable size. And they run through the portal as the palace begins shaking and Slaanesh's scream of rage starts sounding. The entire realm of the Dark Prince vibrates as the entire realm is Slaanesh, and Slaanesh is the entire realm. Massive spiked tentacles begin sliding around the palace, circling Ciro Gorach, who has closed the portal to the webway behind him. Despite it being shut, he needs to hold off Slaanesh long enough for the Elder to get through the webway and to safety. He laughs in the face of the Prince of Pleasure as Slaanesh attacks. The battle isn't very long, it's very one-sided one-sided, as Slaanesh is many magnitude more powerful than the Laughing God, but even as the god of the Harlequins is torn to shreds and consumed, he still laughs. The Ynnari survivors run through the webway and can see what looks like a golden crack surrounded by hordes of demons. Trying to break through it, they charge into the demonic horde, all empowered by their proximity to the combined Crone Sword. They are a walking meat grinder, banishing demons by the thousands every minute as they carve their way towards the golden crack. They reach it, and Yvraine slices it open with the Crone Sword. The webway gladly parts open for the Crone Sword, as the Crone Sword is an Eldar artifact and responds well to the Eldar's dimension. They jump through, with Yvraine then using the Crone Sword to permanently seal the webway behind them. They are back in real space. But not just anywhere. They are in the Imperial Dungeon with the radiance of the Golden Throne above them. They have just permanently sealed the webway under Terra, taking off a mountain of pressure from the God Emperor of mankind. Perhaps freeing his focus to do other stuff, such as saving Guilliman's life when Mortarion injected him with the God Blight. I'll end my retcon here, but it would be cool to
That would be legitimately awesome.
see how the Eldar get out of being surrounded by 1,000 Custodes, or if the Emperor has anything to say to them. Can they get to the specific world to perform the awakening, or will Slaanesh send her greatest champion Fulgrim to stop them? This also ties directly into and fulfills Ser Gorach's prophecy that Slaanesh would cause her own undoing, first by sending an empowered Shalaxti, then by allowing the Eldar to reach the 5th Crone Sword in an attempt to trap them. The Eldar also don't get a clean win here. The War Shard is broken and the Laughing God is dead, which means the Harlequins lose a lot of their power. Slaanesh also isn't beaten or dead, however the Eldar now have a chance to bring their god back and become a proper player. It also changes the Emperor's recent boost in power from being caused by the opening of the Great Rift to the permanent closing of the webway, which I kinda like, as it means the Emperor isn't getting empowered off the galaxy having its asshole torn open. The lore itself would be so awesome, seeing the Eldar take on Slaanesh, overcoming the circles of temptation, whilst also giving us some good god vs god action. This is what GW should have done, and to be honest can probably still do. All they need to do is track down the real Shalaxti, recruit the Ser Gorach Solitaire, then bam, my lore can do the rest. It can even still work with the Emperor getting empowered by the shutting of the webway. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this just a fanfic wankfest, or would this be the most boss-ass Eldar lore to ever exist? If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up a Major Mini, maybe even the Space Elf Jester. It kinda has context to the video. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more retcon content. Join the
Guys, this is the Eldar story we should have gotten. This is what we should have gotten. Oh, man, I would love to hear that. I would love for that to be the case. Because then the Eldar are actually doing stuff again, instead of just being mysterious and whimsical and stupid and causing problems for no fucking reason underneath the sun. Then they're actually getting stuff done. They're not just wasting everybody's time and being a bunch of busybodies, constantly talking about how this is going to bring about the end of their species while doing nothing but encouraging it. The Eldar, GW's constant source of doom and gloom, but yet they're not going to tell you how to avoid it, and they're not going to tell you how to fix it, and they're not going to tell you anything. They're just going to tell you that you're the cause of all the pain and suffering in the world without telling you a damn thing about how to actually handle the problems that you're about to create unknowingly. That is what the Eldar have done for forever, okay? That has been the Eldar storyline forever. And it would be about time that they started doing stuff that made some fucking logical sense and weren't just plot devices of the Imperium. I don't like that. That is not something I enjoy, okay? This story would have been awesome just because of the fact that you would get a lot more character progression. There'd be reasons behind things that actually make sense. Not only that, that would get the hype train going for the Emperor, because there will be a reason he's able to recover, and two, the big spike of power. Because we don't know if the Emperor can heal or not still. If his will has been so dedicated to keeping the portal closed underneath Terra that he just simply does not have the ability to heal himself. We don't know. But in any case, let me know what you guys think below. All of Majorkill's links are going to be in the description below, as well as my own, including Patreon, PayPal, all the other kind of stuff. Guys, I'm heading out of here. I will catch you next time. And just know, as long as they don't start bringing in the Tau, I'm fine.